Well, is it a drum roll to progress? We are looking at our live cameras right now at the U.S. Senate floor where you can see lawmakers. There they are at the mic talking about the work to end the longest federal government shutdown in U.S. history. So there's a deal on the table. It would extend funding of the government through the end of January, so not very far in advance. How did they get to this point, though? 8 Democrats crossed the aisle to support a breakthrough bill that also includes reversing federal layoffs and long-term funding of federal food assistance benefits known as SNAP. So let's go live to Catie Edmondson, congressional correspondent for the New York Times. Catie, good to have you with us here on CBS News 24/7. So walk us through how this came together, because it's not a done deal yet.
That's right, but we cleared a major hurdle last night, which was, as you said, 8 Democrats saying that they had struck a deal with Senate Republicans to reopen the government and ending the filibuster that really the Democratic Party had been engaged in for the past now 41 days. So that is a major breakthrough, and we expect, look, Congress, things take a while sometimes to materialize there. So it could take until maybe even the end of the week for the government to reopen. But at this point, we expect the government will reopen at the end of the week, and that should be sort of the biggest hurdle, is the one that we cleared last night.
And a sigh of relief for so many people affected by the shutdown. Is there really a sense among voters that these shutdowns, the layoff, the food assistance issues will hurt either party going into these crucial midterm elections?
Well, what we saw polling bear out is that in general, voters sort of tend to blame both Republicans and Democrats, but that in this case, Republicans actually were getting a little bit more of the blame because, again, in the minds of most voters, Republicans control Congress and the White House. And so we're really looking to President Trump and Republicans to come up with some sort of solution to end the shutdown. And that's one of the reasons why I think you'll see a lot of progressive Democrats, liberal activists across the country, scratching their heads at the deal that these 8 Democrats entered into, because in their minds, right, public opinion was behind the Democratic filibuster of the funding bills to keep the government, to reopen the government, and so I think that's one of the reasons why you're going to be seeing some major angst among Democrats.
Well, if I'm a member of the traveling public, delayed at an airport by 13 hours, one of our reporters reported, just for one person, or if I don't have those federal SNAP food assistance benefits, or I'm not getting a paycheck, or I was furloughed, I could go down the list. I'm wondering this question: was it all worth it? Because I'm looking at 2 very specific dates on the calendar. Of course, we know that Democrats are hoping that they can get a vote on the extension of those health care credits. That's on the calendar for December, but it's still a maybe. But also, if this bill passes, it only keeps the government funded through January. So is it all worth it, knowing that we're still coming up on problems and arguments in December, and again, the same damn situation at the end of January?
Yeah, that's right. We'll find ourselves in hopefully not the same situation at the end of January. But look, I think shutdowns are inherently political. We have seen in the past few shutdowns, the most recent one being the 2018 to 2019 shutdown. Back in 2013, I believe, there was a Republican-led shutdown. Typically, the people who instigate the shutdowns do not get any sort of real policy wins out of them. Now, what you'll hear Democrats argue is that by sort of using this moment to put a spotlight on the Affordable Care Act subsidies, on healthcare subsidies, the price of healthcare, that they have brought this issue to the fore. They'll argue that voters, and polling bears this out, are on the side of Democrats who want to extend those subsidies. But I think, again, one of the reasons why you're seeing a lot of frustration among progressives in Washington is they're saying, look, the deal that you accepted, right, which is to get a vote with an outcome that is not guaranteed on these subsidies, is basically what Senate Majority Leader John Thune had offered to Democrats even before the government had shut down.
All right, Catie Edmondson of the New York Times, thank you so much for your insights today. We will continue watching it, right?